All right, campers, welcome back. Welcome back to another week of KCC. All right, we are in week 3. All right, who can remind us what country are we learning about this week? Jeannie? Kenya, that's right. So we have already been talking about a few things that have to do with Kenya. We're going to do a little review, and then we're going to get into a new lesson for today, moving around by matatus, okay? And you know, you may be wondering, what's a matatu?
I know.
All right, okay. We kind of mentioned that a little bit yesterday. So let's see. Some of you may remember, but we're going to get really in depth, and you are actually going to make your very own matatu today as well. More to come, more to come. So before you all come to the carpet, all right, let's do a little bit of review about some of the things that we learned about Kenya. Who can tell? What are some of the countries? Well, first of all, even before that, what continent is Kenya on? Mila?
Africa.
That's right. It's on the continent of Africa. What region of Africa will you find Kenya? We talked about the 5 regions. Eduardo?
West Africa.
Oh, good guess, good guess, good guess, good guess. All right, can somebody help him out? Josie?
No.
Oh, all right. Another good guess, good guess. Jabbar? East Africa. That's right. Yes. Who can tell us what are some of the countries that are neighbors or border Kenya? All right. We talked about 5 of them, and also a body of water. All right. Let's see. Let's see. August, tell us one.
Ethiopia.
Ethiopia is one. Yes. Serena?
Somalia.
Somalia is another one. Yes. Andre?
South Sudan.
South Sudan. Yes. Summer?
Congo.
Say again. Uganda. Yes, Uganda. There we go. All right. Another one. Logan.
Indian Ocean.
Okay. Yes, the Indian Ocean is the body of water. And then one last country. Josie. Yes, Tanzania, or Tanzania as it's sometimes pronounced. What is the capital of Nairobi?
Nairobi.
Yeah, I kind of gave that one away. The capital of Kenya is Nairobi. Yes. I know.
There's also on the board.
Yes, it is on the board. So, yeah, and some of our things were on the board, and that's perfectly fine. So now we're going to learn about how Kenyans move around. Many Kenyans move around using matatus. And so there are different ways, and I told you that even when I'm in Kenya, what were some of the ways I told you that I get around? Eduardo? Uber, yes. So there's Uber in Kenya. There's another thing, app like Uber, which is Bolt. So there are different taxis that you can use to get around Kenya. But for the mwananchi, everybody say mwananchi. Mwananchi is the everyday citizen. Now I'm an everyday citizen too. But for many of the people who are living in Kenya all the time, they love to use matatus. I've ridden around in a matatu as well. But sometimes if I don't want to deal with a crowd, and sometimes if I just want to go directly to where I'm going, I will use an Uber or a Bolt. So the mwananchi, though, when they're going to work or school or meetings, they might move around by matatus. So let's talk a little bit about what matatus are all about, why they're so important in Kenyan culture, and also some very important people, some notable Kenyans, and we'll talk about what that has to do with matatus. Mila, I see you have your hand up.
Do you live in Kenya, or do you like go visit?
So I live part of the time of the year in Kenya, and sometimes I'm here. Yes, good question. So I'm going to erase the board really quickly. So while you all get to the carpet, Mama Monica, if you can just call folks who look like they're ready to come sit crisscross on the carpet, please. All right, let's see. Let's make sure we are still connected. I'm going to erase. Eduardo, we are coming to the carpet nicely and safely. Here we go. All right, so for, again, the mwananchi. Everybody say mwananchi. What does mwananchi mean again? What does mwananchi mean again? It's like the everyday citizens, all right? So these are folks who, they may not be, government leaders. They may not be in parliament or governors or anything like that. These are everyday folks. This is how they move around most of the time. And does anybody want to guess why everyday citizens would use a matatu? And actually, let me write that on the board. How do you spell matatu? Excuse me, Summer? M-A-T-A-T-U. Yes, matatu. Everybody say matatu. And sometimes, instead of saying matatu, folks might say, oh, I'm going to take a mat. I'm going to take a mat into town. Yes, everybody say mat. So can anyone guess why an everyday citizen would take a matatu to get to where they're going instead of taking an Uber or a Bolt? And I kind of talked about this a little bit yesterday. Mila. It's a quick, cheap way to get around. Now, there's lots of traffic all over Nairobi, especially during the rush hour when people are going from work to get home or to getting, all of that. So there's lots of traffic. And sometimes it may take a little bit longer in a matatu, but it's definitely a cheaper way to go. So like an Uber might cost maybe 1,000 shillings or 500 shillings. But a matatu, not US dollars, shillings, Kenya shillings, which might be around, and we talked a little bit about this yesterday. $1 US dollar might equal 125 shillings. Okay, so around a dollar. So if you're taking the Uber, and let's say that Uber costs, let's say maybe 500 shillings, you're spending maybe around $4 or so. Okay, definitely not more than 5, maybe 3 something. But a matatu to go the same place might cost maybe 50 shillings. All right. So which one is the cheaper way to go? A matatu. Yes. So when they want to save their money, all right, most people will take a matatu or a mat. Okay. Now there's something really special about matatus. And this is why I love them so much and why I really wanted to show you all about this special way of getting around Kenya. Now you can take them if you're going to somewhere in Nairobi from area to area. You can also take them to get around to different parts of the country. So if I live in Nairobi and I want to go see my friends who maybe live in Nanyuki or Eldoret, I can also take a matatu. It will be a longer trip, almost like going on a Greyhound or a Megabus or taking the Amtrak train. So it's a long journey, but it will still be a lot cheaper than taking a plane or taking a train. So a matatu, again, is a nice, inexpensive way to get around. But what's really cool about matatus, now these ones that you're seeing, they're kind of plain colored, but matatus often have special messages. All right, and we're going to look at some of these messages. All right, like during COVID time, do you all see that? Okay, look up at the screen. All right, so during COVID times, there was a matatu. This one was decorated. Most matatus are colorfully decorated. And so this one had a message reminding people to do what? Look at the picture. What do you think it's reminding? To wear your mask, okay? Social distance, all of that. But guess what else matatus usually have on them? All right, I'm going to turn it this way. Y'all look up at the board. All right, hang on.
I can see perfectly.
Okay. All right, does anybody know who that character is? All right, okay, raise a quiet hand if you know who it is. Jabbar? Biggie Smalls, that's right. So lots of matatus, Daisy, will have famous people, musicians, world leaders. Some of them even have religious figures all over the matatus. Many of them are well decorated. So yeah, there's one with Biggie Smalls. Let me see if y'all know who this other person is. All right, let me see. Avery, was your hand up? So who's this person? Yes, so there is a matatu, lots of matatus all over Kenya because Kenyans love reggae music. So Bob Marley is a popular figure on the cover or on the outside of matatus. All right, he's not even alive anymore, but we remember him. All right, here's another one. All right, who's this one? Josie?
Oh, that one right there. That looks like Nicki
Nicki Minaj, okay? So she's also on Matatus on Kenya, in Kenya.
It says Nicki Minaj.
Yeah, all right. So guess what? We are going to talk about a few notable Kenyans, all right? Some famous Kenyans. All right, let me see if I can get it a little bit clearer. 1 second, Dre. 1 second, Dre. Andre.
I'm not Jay.
I know, yep, that's why I got you. I corrected myself. All right, let's see if I can get it a little bit more focused. Okay, there we go. All right. Excuse me, Andre. So let's talk about some of these people. And don't worry, everybody's going to get one of their very own handouts just like this, okay? So who knows some of these people who are on this slide? Josie, tell us one person you know.
Lupita Nyong'o.
Lupita Nyong'o, okay.
She's an actor. I know her like a few things.
Okay, all right. What's one movie that you remember her from?
It's like
Okay, which movie was all about Wakanda? Jabbar? Black Panther, yes. So Lupita Nyong'o, she was actually born in Mexico, but both of her parents are Kenyan, and then she grew up in Kenya. All right, so she is a famous actress and put Kenya on the map because of she brought lots of fame because of her performances. Yes, definitely Black Panther was one. She was also in 12 Years a Slave. So she is definitely a famous Kenyan when we talk about arts and performances. Okay, who else? Who recognizes anybody else? All right, our screen went a little blurry again, but that's all right. You all are gonna get these. All right, who else knows someone else? Anybody else? Serena?
I think I've heard her name before, but I don't really know her.
Okay, which one? Wangari Maathai. Okay, Wangari Maathai. Yes. What do we know about Wangari Maathai? Who knows? Okay, Josie.
Like she saved lots of plants and stuff, and I think like other people they made rude comments about her, and I think she might have went to jail for it.
Okay. All right. So you're definitely on point with quite a bit of what you mentioned there. So Wangari Maathai is an activist. Everybody say activist.
Activist.
Yes, from Kenya, and she is known for helping to make sure that in Kenya there are still lots of trees all over the country. Why do we need trees? What do trees help us to do, Eduardo?
Air.
Yes, they help us with oxygen, right? If we cut down all the trees, then we have very little oxygen to breathe. So Wangari Maathai saw that there were so many trees being cut down. She was like, no, we have to stop this. So she led a movement to make sure that less trees were cut down in Kenya. Serena?
Also, trees give us fruit and
Yes. And so here's also, Daisy, what is so special about Wangari Maathai. She is the first African woman to win the Nobel Peace Prize. All right, so she is definitely someone that we should remember. All right, I'm gonna point out some other folks. Okay, yes, she has already passed away years ago, but she is still remembered lovingly in Kenya. Everybody say Jomo Kenyatta.
Jomo Kenyatta.
All right, Jomo Kenyatta is a very important Kenyan. Jabbar, I'm going to come to your hand first. Just in a minute. Do you know who this person is, Jomo Kenyatta?
I always just ask him if I could use the bathroom.
Okay, all right, yep. Go see Azania real quick. So Jomo Kenyatta, yes. All right, y'all go and come back real quick because I don't want y'all to miss. All right, walk that way, Summer. So Jomo Kenyatta was the first president of Kenya. When Kenya gained independence in 1963, Jomo Kenyatta was one of the leaders then, Andre, and he became the very first president. Yes, Eduardo?
Who is owning Kenya? Who is governing it?
Who was governing it before they became independent?
Yeah.
So the British. Okay, so the British were the colonials who were in charge at the time. And when Kenya gained their independence, Jomo Kenyatta became the first president. Speaking of independence, Avery. So here is another very important individual, Serena, who has fought for the independence of Kenya. Everyone say Dedan Kimathi. Yes. All right. And he was a leader of the Mau Mau rebellion, the Mau Mau soldiers. Everybody say Mau Mau. So the Mau Mau, Eduardo and Logan, the Mau Mau were Kenyans who were fighting against the British to get Kenya's independence, and they would often hide out in the forest in caves, and so they would come and wage attacks when the British were kind of off their guard. So Dedan Kimathi is a very important Mau Mau leader. Everybody say Mau Mau. Mau Mau. All right, everybody say Dedan Kimathi.
Dedan Kimathi.
All right, let me come around. Okay, let me come back up the top. Yes, Serena?
The teacher who I said was from Kenya.
Mm-hmm.
Her last name was Kimathi.
Ah, okay, great connection. Yes, so Kimathi is definitely a Kenyan name. All right, let me come back up to this young man, all right? So this young man is also an activist. Everybody say an activist.
Activist.
All right, so activists are people who see something wrong, Andre, and they try to change it, whether for the community or for the world. Everybody say Lessine Mutunke. Everybody say Lessine Mutunke. All right, let's try that again. Lessine Mutunke. All right, he was just a young boy when he started an organization called Trees for Goals. So similar to Wangari Maathai, Josie, he wanted to make sure that all the trees were not cut down in Kenya. But he also loved football, all right, which is what they call soccer in Kenya. So he started a campaign that said whenever he planted a tree or whenever he scored a goal, he would plant a tree. And so he is still on his campaign, playing football, scoring goals, and planting trees every time he does that. I'm sorry, say that again?
Is he professional or no?
No, he's not professional, so good question. But a young man, a little bit older than you all, when he started his activism. All right, okay, all right, everybody over here say Melissa Wahu.
Melissa Wahu.
Yes, she is an author, all right? And she is famous for writing children's books that help to remind our children and even our grown-ups too how beautiful Africa is, all right? Because so many times when we're reading books, we have to struggle to find books about Africa or books about children that look, that are people of color. So Melissa Wahu is on a campaign. She writes lots of books all about Africa, all about Kenya, that show how beautiful, how strong Africans are, African children are, and all about the animals of Africa as well. So she is also a famous Kenyan. And then finally, our last person that we have is Ayub Ogada. Everybody say Ayub Ogada.
Ayub Ogada.
And what does it look like he's doing here in this picture?
Playing music.
Playing music. Yes, Eduardo. All right. So he is playing an instrument, a traditional instrument. I love the way Mila is sitting up, tracking, paying attention. Awesome. So is Summer. This instrument that he's playing is called a nyatiti. Everybody say nyatiti.
Nyatiti.
I know. And later on this week, we might actually get to see an actual nyatiti. I'm going to write it on the board so you can see it. It's a very delicate instrument. And it almost, let's see, what does it kind of look like based on what you're seeing in the picture? What instrument does it remind you of? Mila?
It reminds me of a harp.
Okay, yep, a harp. It's kind of like a harp. Eduardo?
A flute.
Okay, all right. It has a little flute. Summer, what are you seeing? Here it is right here. What instrument does it make you think of?
Like a flute, because I could see like a hole right
Oh, okay, all right. Okay, so holes like a flute. August, what about you? You see, what does this nyatiti make you think of? What instrument does it make you think of? You're not sure? Okay, all right. Anybody else? So it's almost like a guitar kind of harp. Let me write that on the board. Nyatiti.
So it's half harp, half guitar.
Yeah, something like that. And it has a very soft sound, and they play it with their fingers. But Ayub Ogada, even when things became more modern and people started playing other instruments, he is very important because he wanted to make sure that the traditional music and the traditional instruments of Kenya were still played and still held in high esteem, still practiced, and that their music was still spread all over the country. So these are just a few. There's so many important, notable Kenyans. But these are just 7 that I wanted to share with you. So now here's what you all are going to do now. All right, 2 things. When you get back to your seats, you're going to get a sheet just like this, right? Okay, that says, what does it say on it? Yeah, so I want you to think about what I've shared. It hasn't been a whole lot, but of these individuals, pick one that you're like, you know what? I think that person is pretty cool. And maybe you want to learn more about that Kenyan person. We have books around our classroom that you can probably find something about some of them. Definitely you can ask your parents to Google them to find out more information about them. But then here's the other part that I want us all to do. You're going to make your very own matatu. All right. We're going to get popsicle sticks. We're going to put those out on the tables. So those scissors and the glue, those we're going to be using as well, because I want you to pick maybe 1, maybe 2, maybe 3 of these individuals, and you can cut out their pictures and make your very own colorful Kenyan matatu. If you want to put their pictures down here, you can. All right, so a colorful matatu that highlights 1, 2, or maybe 3 of these famous Kenyans. Who's thinking? Who do you think you might put on your matatu? All right, Mila?
And Ayub.
Okay, all right. And why do you think you want to put those individuals on your matatu?
Because I think it's fascinating how Ayub Ogala tried to keep like Kenyan, like traditional Kenyan music, and like not just switch to the modern music. And I like how Lupita Nyong'o helped represent Kenya in movies.
All right, awesome. Sounds good. Avery, who do you think you're going to put on your matatu?
Legend Mutangi,
Oh.
because sometimes
No, go ahead. We'll wait a few minutes. Why do you think? Why do you want to go with Lessine Mutunke? Okay, all right. Think about it a little bit more. I'm sure you have something interesting to share. Anybody else? Josie, Daisy, I'm coming to you next.
Lupita Nyong'o and Wangari Maathai.
All right, Lupita Nyong'o and Wangari Maathai. Why those 2?
Because I like Lupita Nyong'o when she played.
All right, say that a little louder so that Daisy can hear you, or Eduardo. Go ahead, Josie.
How she played in movies, and I like how Wangari Maathai kept the trees.
All right, so you like how Lupita played in movies and how Wangari is keeping the trees alive. Awesome. Logan, what about you?
I'm not talking about this, but I want to do Dan.
Kimathi?
Yes.
Okay.
But I just want to ask, can we do a 3D?
My wheel fell off. Oh, you make a 3D, you know what? I think we may have enough sticks. So we have some uncolored sticks too. So maybe if you want to make a 3D one, that sounds like a great idea. And then you can use some colorful sticks maybe on the outside. So awesome. I think we have a good stash that you can do that. And so why do you want to put Dedan Kimathi on your matatu?
Because I don't really know. He just looks really cool.
All right. Seems really cool. All right. Awesome. Awesome. Eduardo, what about you?
I don't.
Lessine Mutunke?
Yeah.
Okay.
The other trainer.
Oh, the Wangari Maathai. Okay. And why do you want to put those on those individuals?
Same idea.
Ah, okay. Awesome. Andre.
I want to do Lessine Mutanki
Mm-hmm.
because I like football, and I think it was nice of him to put trees to plant trees every time that he scored a goal.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Serena.
I think I would pick Wangari Maathai and Melissa Wahoo
Oh, Wahoo. Okay. All right. And why Wangari Maathai and Melissa Wahoo?
because I love reading, and me and my friends wanted to write a book one day.
Oh.
And also because I love nature, and because I love fruit.
All right. Okay. Awesome. So Melissa Wahoo is an inspiration for you as an author. Great. And loving nature. Yes. Jabbar. Daisy, I didn't forget about you. I'm coming to you next.
I want to pick Lessine Mutunke
All right. And why Lessine Mutunke?
because I like that he tried more and more to score goals when he made the campaign.
Okay. Yes. All right. So y'all love his campaign. Daisy, what about you? Who do you think you're going to put on your matatu?
The
Which one? Wangari Maathai or Lesin Mutunke? Or both? Lesin Mutunke? Okay, all right. Awesome, awesome.
Actress.
Lupita Nyong'o. All right, great, great, great. All right. Oh, Avery, you wanted to add on to? Go ahead.
I picked Lejeune because I like soccer.
Mm-hmm.
And because sometimes like big soccer arenas, you have to cut down like a lot of trees to make the space for it.
Uh-huh.
He's also playing soccer and planting trees.
Ah, so we like how he combined those two, soccer and trees. Awesome. Jeannie. Jomo Kenyatta. Oh, okay. Lesin Mutunke. All right. Okay. Melissa Wahoo. Okay, and why those two?
Because I think it's cool
Mm-hmm.
that Melissa is like making children books
Mm-hmm.
and helping.
Okay, all right, awesome. Yes. Anybody else want to share? Anybody else want to share? Or are we ready to get working on our tattoos? Oh, wait, Jabbar, yes. Ready to work on the tattoos? Okay, all right, okay. Everybody, okay. Wait, Summer, did you want to share? Who do you want to put on your tattoo? Tell us one person.
Her.
Melissa Wahoo? All right, and why do you want to put her on?
Because actually I want to put her.
Okay, and you can put both of them, Wangari and Maathai, because you have space. You can make space for two pictures, and you can cut it. You don't have to cut out the whole big picture as long as you have the person's face. You can put that on. All right. Okay, so Wangari Maathai or Melissa Wahoo. Awesome. August, what about you? We didn't hear from you. Nope. You okay? You're not sure? Still thinking about it? Okay, great. So, campers, when I call your name, all right, you're gonna walk to your tables. All right. Yes, we can put those scissors out. Popsicle sticks, we have all of those, and be as creative as you would love to be. Okay, we have some buttons, we have sequins, beads that you can use to make your wheels and your headlights, all of those things. And of course, you'll cut out the person that you want. Maybe it's one person, then you just maybe need one window, and you can also decorate other things on your put other things on your tattoo. As you've seen from those pictures, they are very colorful. Why do you think those matatus are so colorful? Instead of just being plain white buses, some of them are. Serena?
Maybe to get people's attention so they can come in.
Exactly. So the conductors will be calling people. All right. They'll say their routes. We're going to Githurai, Siokimau, wherever their bus is going, because they want passengers to come. And then, of course, when the passengers see the brightly colored buses, that's, oh yeah. And some of them play lots of cool music on the buses. So that makes the passengers want to come, because when they're going on their long ride home from work, they want something, they want to have an enjoyable ride. All right, any questions? All right, sticks are coming around.
Where can I jump in?
Yeah, we just
Had some glue issues.
Oh, okay. Or maybe button this with me.
Can I borrow?
Yeah, so we also have some glitter glue.
I tried making glue.
Oh, okay. Oh,
I just need.
How do you make it 3D?
I think I need one more.
so good question.
How it looks like.
I'm gonna give y'all a bunch of the if you want to make it 3D.
Yeah, that's helpful.
All right.
I want to see how it looks. I
Me
forgot
and
how
Logan will share this to make it 3D.
All right.
forgot how the thing looks.
The matatu.
Yeah, where's
It's like a bus. I'll pull up the first slide, but again, it's like think like a bus. All right, so our campers are now busy working on their very own Kenyan matatus. This is just one of the craft projects. As you can hear, there's lots of excitement. This is just one of the projects that they'll be working on, and they'll be finished by Friday, so stay tuned to see their finished matatus, fully decorated, highlighting some of the famous Kenyans that they learned about this week. All right, so see you all when they're finished. Kwaheri.